Visit Valley Park Radio online. www.valleyparkradio.org.uk. Valley Park Radio.
Darren's Valley's radio station. Valley Park Radio.
And a very good afternoon. You're listening to Valley Park Radio on a Thursday afternoon with me, Dave Lockyer. And on the other side of the desk, as always, hello, Gemma Burgess.
Hello. How are you this week, Dave?
I'm fine. I mean, what a lovely day.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Well, I came up for a coffee morning this morning arranged by the volunteers, and it was colder in the Margate than it was outside. So we had it al fresco. We was outside. Very nice it was too.
Oh, it's about time too. It's my favourite time of year, spring, when all of the beautiful flowers start to come out and all the baby animals are going to be born soon.
I know. It's lovely.
It actually is a real beautiful time for hope, isn't it? It brings such new hope.
New beginnings and all of that.
Fantastic. So welcome everyone to Hope on Prescription, live on Valley Park Radio, playing to all the staff, patients, friends and family. And I'm really looking forward today because we are going to be speaking to Sarah Winn. Sarah has created a verbatim play on male mental health, depression and suicide. This is a sensitive topic, so I will give a warning today. Please do listen in, but please do be mindful, and there will be some great links for you to go to if and when you need them. Talking about male mental health is crucial because men often face unique challenges that can prevent them from seeking the help that they need. And it's just so important that we break this stigma.
Yeah.
Everybody is just as important, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, no matter who you are so important. Okay, so I think what would be really fun is before we get into the show, Dave, if we could have the very first song that Sarah has chose for us this week, and that is Englishman in New York.
It's so good as well, yeah. And Gemma, yes, we're talking about the very important subject of male mental health.
Yes. Unfortunately, men grow up with social expectations to hold up this strong and tough demeanour, which can really discourage them from expressing their emotions or even for seeking out for mental health support. I think it's just so important that we start addressing male mental health more openly so that we can really dismantle these harmful stereotypes. So let's go in and welcome Sarah. Sarah, please share a little about yourself and your background in theatre.
Hi Gemma, thank you so much for having me on the show. So just a little bit about me really. I trained as an actor. First of all, I trained in physical theatre because I was a gymnast when I was a kid, and that was kind of where my path led me. I always knew that I wanted to train in straight acting as well, so that I had a nice balance. So then I trained, I went to the Oxford School of Drama for 3 years and graduated a long time ago, back in 2008, and have worked in the business in all different capacities ever since, really. I now seem to have a focus on sort of like community theatre, done work with young offenders. I love working with people to use theatre to kind of create change. So, that's really important to me.
Absolutely, and it's such a powerful tool because there's so many ways that you can really express through different mediums in theatre. So you wrote the play No One Here Is Me. Can you share with us what led you to write this play?
Yeah, so in terms of creating No One Here Is Me, basically what happened was in 2021, my cousin Gar took his own life in the July, and I'll be honest, I was completely shocked by the news. We were quite close when we were kids. There's 18 months between us, and I can remember having various funny days out, and we just had a very unique connection. We were both sort of creative. He was an amazing musician, and I didn't see him very often as our lives sort of, as you get older, and it was more sort of like at funerals and weddings and family parties, but we always just got on really well and had this sort of spark together. We actually said that we were going to marry each other when we were younger, but so it was such a shock to me, and it kind of made my own mental health spiral a bit because I couldn't quite get my head around it. I thought it was so shocking. And I started to look into statistics and of suicide, and into like I got really interested in male mental health basically. And I'd just done a verbatim play with a wonderful theatre company, Portrait Theatre, and was completely inspired by Isabel Defoe, who is the founder and director of Portrait. And I just felt like that might be quite a good medium. And basically I wanted to use my skills as a theatre maker and creator to do something, to take action, to find some hope out of such a devastating situation. So yeah.
Absolutely, and I'm so sorry that you're right, it's very devastating, but the beauty is you have found hope, and this is going to go on to help so many people. Verbatim theatre is a powerful medium. Can you tell us your process of gathering the real stories and shaping them into this play?
So in terms of using verbatim as a medium, basically verbatim is that you go and you interview people on a certain subject, and it's normally something to do with their own lives or their own point of view on that. And so I was lucky enough to get funding from the Arts Council, and I had about 4 months to do research. So I worked with various charities in Kent and spoke to my family, and those charities then led me to individual men that I was able to hold interviews with. And then in terms of the verbatim, is what I'm doing is I record the interviews that I have with them, and then I listen back. I normally listen to them back about 3 times, and then I extract sections that I find kind of the most impactful, or they strike me in some way, and then you weave together a script from that. And the power of it is obviously, you know, these are real life experiences, and you know, they're completely honest, and you know, everyone in the script is completely anonymous, apart from my family, who were happy to kind of be known. So yeah.
Okay, and how did you balance the raw honesty of these stories of creating something hopeful and accessible to the audiences?
I think in terms of like balancing the raw honesty of stories to make something hopeful, I think that's the point. I think I wanted to balance always, you know, the loss of my cousin to the survival of the men that I've spoken to. And I think it's really important to be able to look, you know, to really look at the peaks and troughs of mental health, and, you know, find I wanted to find out what is happening in society already, because I really think that we need to progress from where we are. I think we're obviously doing really great things, but, you know, the suicide rate keeps rising. And so I wanted to not shy away from the depths of these stories, and I wanted that to be respected, but I also wanted to find the lightness in it, and the I guess like the intricacies of each thing, and yeah, just to find how we are, although we may feel alone, that we are all connected.
Absolutely, we certainly are, and sometimes it really just takes sitting down with someone and having a cup of tea and allowing yourself to talk about these things. And I think it's absolutely incredible that all of these voices have come together to create this wonderful piece, which I'm really looking forward to coming to see. Before we go any further, let's have another song, Dave. Love is a simple thing.
It certainly is, but there's so many songs that are made about them. It is. So this is Meredith Danborough. It's a lovely song. This enjoy.
How lucky can one guy be? I've switched off the BBC and I've tuned in instead to Valley Park Radio. The music they play is fine. It's just like a vintage wine. So I'll stay here in bed with Valley Park Radio.
Yes, indeed. Valley Park Radio on a Thursday afternoon, and this is Hope on Prescription with me, Dave Lockyer, and Gemma Burgess, and also a very special guest who's talking about this very, very important subject of male mental health. Gemma.
Yes, thank you. So my mission is all about going around finding hopeful things that are happening in and around where we are locally or across Kent. And this is what brought me to you, Sarah. I would really like to know, what does hope mean to you?
That's a good question. What does hope mean to me? Hope for me is, I think, having done this work, it's really about connection. I think that from all the interviews I've held, I think a lot of the time men can feel alone and feel like they have to have a responsibility or all the answers. And, you know, I think we've really lost as a society a community, which I think is really sad. And I think that we feel like we're connected to people through social media or the fact that you can just text someone. And I think that we've really lost real, proper human connection and rootedness with other people. So I would say, in terms of hope, I think connection is the most important thing. And I think the other thing that I would say is true compassion for other people. I think, you know, we all make judgments, you know, towards each other. That's part of our instincts as human, you know, that for a survival. But I think it's like really, you know, trying to understand what someone else is going through. And that's really a powerful element of the play, because you're able to sit back and connect with those stories, a bit like when you watch a film.
Gorgeous. And talking about connection, I'm really excited actually to share with everyone that we have some incredible writing for wellbeing workshops coming up. This is just to get us all in the room together as a community, and like you say, bring back that restoration of being in person, that in-person community connection. Yes, I mean, the phones are a fantastic tool to help us connect, but those quality moments where you get to sit in person with someone and share your voice. And this is why I'm really excited about the Writing for Wellbeing workshops, because it's going to give our local community the opportunity to come together, to be open, to be real. There's no judgment. It's just a calming space where we can write some poems together, or even just listen in and just have a chat and connect with your community. Sarah, I was looking into the current statistics for men, and it's just shocking, and it's on the increase, isn't it? How can we help? Like, what can we do if men are feeling this way?
Yeah, the rates are shocking. I'd completely agree. In terms of how we can help, I mean, there's lots of, if you go to our website, which I know that you're going to highlight, we have some signposting there. I think really it's about connection. Again, like I've mentioned in the hope, I think it's really kind of, as much as you can, being aware of how someone is feeling and what they're going through, and to not try and deal with it on your own. But at the same time, you know, there are so many wonderful things that are happening out in, especially Kent, because I'm very aware of this area. I'm sure it's happening all over the country, as now we're, you know, generally as a society more aware of mental health. But I do think that, you know, don't suffer in silence. All of the men that I've spoken to, a lot of them, it's the first time they've spoken to somebody about this, or, you know, that they're on a massive journey. And actually they feel enlightened when they have a human connection, when they've spoken to somebody, when they've been able to offload. And I think that's, you know, that can't be kind of not thought highly enough of. And there's so many things now, you know, it's not that you have to talk to someone. It's not about this, like, get people talking. You know, there's so many activities out there that you can do, like from open cold water swimming to, I don't know, walks in nature with a guide, or whatever it is, that there's not necessarily that you're there to talk, but that talking might happen.
Absolutely. And it gives you that space to connect. On your website, you explain that you hold discussions after the show. What made you decide to do this, and do you find it's beneficial?
Yeah, in terms of the post-show discussion, we just think it's really important that the fact of I believe that we have a responsibility that if we're bringing this to a community, that we are there to be as a sounding board and to be able to highlight other things that are going on in the area. We also want to, really shine a light on what local charities are doing so that people have an awareness of what's happening in their area, what's on offer. Also as a society, how can we work to find things that aren't already there? How can we come together? Again, I guess part of the post-show discussion is to create this community feel, and for them to ask questions. Normally on the panel, it will be myself, some of the actors. My uncle has been at performances and hopes to be as most as he can. And we obviously then have charities in the local area also on the panel, reflecting back on what they've heard, but also, highlighting the work that they do and where, we can move forward to in the future.
Absolutely incredible. I'm totally in awe and inspired with what you're doing, and anybody who has taken an interest in this, do definitely go and see the show. I will inform you of some dates and times in a moment. No One Here Is Me has been performed at the Marlow Kit in Canterbury and the Afro Theatre at the University of Kent. Where do you plan to go next, Sarah?
This is an excellent question because we are indeed now gearing up to go again with No One Here Is Me in Kent. This time we are performing at 2 football clubs. So we will be performing on Friday the 28th of March at 7:30, and that's at Margate Football Club in Margate. And then on Saturday the 29th of March, we will be performing at Maidstone United Football Club in Maidstone. And we'd love people to come down and check out and come and witness the play and join the community, really. And you can get tickets directly from the website. It's completely free. You just need to sign up for a ticket. So great. Thanks. Hope to see you there.
Yes, I will definitely be there. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing all of this with us, and I really look forward to seeing the play myself at the end of the month. Please do visit www.noonehereisme.co.uk for more information on this play and for signposts of support. There's support such as Head in the Game, Mind Kent, Poets In, Rewrite Your Story, and the Kent and Medway Suicide Prevention Programme. These are all charities or companies helping support male mental health. So, Dave, could we please go into our next song?
I think we can. And a good song it is too. This is Sweet Disposition. Myself, Dave Lyker, and Gemma Burgess on the other side of the nest. And Gemma, I know you've been out and about and having some discussions about this very important topic of male mental health.
Yes, I absolutely have. I spoke to some friends and some family members, and they have shared some of their thoughts with me, which I'd like to share to help raise awareness around what these men around us are thinking and what's going on for them. Because when you look at a man, you may not think that they are feeling this way, but it is apparent that they are, and they can be. Men tend to bottle things up until they explode. They say that they're raised with this image that they have to be tough all the time, and there is very little support for men. And many men feel shame to speak out about how they're feeling in fear of being demasculinized. A lot of women view an emotional man as weak, and a lot of men's feelings are disregarded. This broke my heart when I heard this comment, because I was like, absolutely not. I mean, personally, I totally disagree with that. A lot of men's mental health is buried, and it goes deep within, and it's a real shame, because they start to feel shame themselves or embarrassed, and this is why they find it difficult to speak out about their emotions. And male suicide is such a high category that isn't really spoken about, and it is so upsetting to hear that the waiting list can take such a long time that it could actually be too late for them. This is why this work is so important, that we start getting this topic out, doing things that we can to help lots of different men going through these challenging times. I just also wanted to highlight something that a friend said about how a man is expected to be the breadwinner. He's expected to bring the money home, and he actually said if you look at dating apps, 90% of women are not interested in guys unless they're concerned that they're raising the right amount of money, and if they are to discover that a man has a mental health issue, unfortunately they've noticed that the woman just does a runner. And I don't think this is fair. Again, like, it really just frustrates me, because no matter who you are, no matter what your gender, we all have a mind, which means we all have mental health, right? We just need to get this equality going. We need it to be fair for both men and for women. It was actually quite a shock as well when my brother said to me, just look into criminal cases where women are given lesser sentences and punishments for the same type of crimes that a man would do. Another example he said is that he has a friend who is a single dad, and they struggle with getting the same support that a single mum would. And women have so much more access to groups and resources than men, and this has to change. It absolutely has to change. I mean, even if you go onto Google and you have a little look at the support lines, women's support lines are fully funded 24/7, and males are between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. So what then happens after that time or before that time if a man needed that service? It just doesn't seem fair, and this really has to change. You look at the homelessness ratio, male versus women, the difficulties with child support, and women having these children and not putting the man on the birth certificate, for example, assuming that these aren't bad circumstances, of course, but I don't feel like it's fair, because it's not giving the father a chance to step forward for themselves and for their child and to be known. There is just such a big array of challenges for men that we just don't see, or we just don't talk about. And we have to start talking about this, because we need to raise awareness. We need to make changes, because everybody's life is important.
And that is The Fighter. Good song, that, Gemma. I like that one a lot.
Absolutely. Let's keep fighting to make these changes, guys. It's just so important. I can't even express enough how important these topics that we explore on this episode once a fortnight are, because they really highlight the important topics and ways that we can live better and connect more. So, Dave, we have explored male mental health today, and I wonder, do you have anything that you would like to share from your perspective?
Well, I can say from personal experience, because I did have a bout of depression back in the early 80s. And I know what started it. I had a change of job, and I went from a place which we had a lot of close friends to a job that was just so boring, and it did eventually get on top of me. And I really couldn't keep it bottled up, because I just used to burst into tears. But I had, the most important thing is you don't bottle it up. You do speak to someone. And I had great support from my sister and my girlfriend Sharon at the time, who's now my wife. What was the horrible thing? I was hearing the voices in my head saying, "Get rid of Sharon, get rid of Sharon," and I'm saying, "No, I don't want to. It's such a conflict." But they were so patient, especially Sharon, so patient. And pleased to say, I came out of the other side a much stronger person, I think. It is difficult, but what you don't do is you don't bottle it up. That is the key, I think.
Be open and find somebody to talk to. If it's not somebody, a friend or a family, then go and seek some professional help, because there are certainly people that are there. There's a great text service called Shout, so even if you didn't want to actually speak to somebody vocally, you can text, and a volunteer will reply and help sort of comfort you and find things to help bring you joy. Dave, what sort of things do you do now to keep your mental health positive and getting through challenging times?
I think it's having a positive attitude and being a glass half full sort of person rather than a glass half empty. And I always think, always have something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be something big. It can be, going out for a meal with friends, or it could be going to the theatre. It doesn't have to be, trip halfway around the world. Even just little things you like. Have something to look forward to. Have hobbies. Don't coop up indoors watching the TV all day every day. Go out and do stuff, and keep the mind active, and keep the support network. I don't think I was a serious sufferer. I'm sure there was people who suffered it much more badly than I was, but it was a challenge. But I think if you have something to look forward to, have that support network, then I think that's a great foundation for getting through these terrible things.
Absolutely, I totally agree. But what you said there, Dave, honestly, like, it doesn't matter how big or small it is the impact that it's having in your mind. Like you said, you was battling those thoughts. Like, one part of you was like, get rid of her. No, I don't want to get rid. And this is the tricky thing. It's like my brother actually said to me the other day. He was like, it's almost like you have two wolves inside your mind that are fighting. And I think I have heard this as an analogy somewhere else before. I won't attempt to quote it, but I know myself all too well, that battle of yes, I've got this, I can do this, I'm winning, I'm shining, to I'm an imposter, hide, put me in the room, in a dark room, I don't want to see anyone, I can't see anyone, and it is that battle of the mind. And I generally think we all have it. I just think sometimes it is more intense, depending on circumstances, and again depending on support that you have. I mean, something you highlighted there, if you have a good support network, it can really help. I've got a best friend and I'm always ringing her and like dumping my life on her, but she does the same for me, and without having that, it can be a challenge. But that doesn't mean to say you're alone. You're absolutely not ever alone. There is always someone to talk to, and even if you wanted to just drop me a message over on www.hopeonprescription.co.uk, I'm no therapist, but I'm here and I'm happy to listen, and I'm happy to signpost you to areas where I know that you can get the correct support that you need.
Great song there from Coldplay and Fix You. Gemma.
Dave, thank you so much for sharing with us just before we went into that song. I think we just need more people to have the courage to speak up and help, because hopefully anybody listening today may be inspired to do that, and that is our goal, is to help people through challenging times and to find hope in the midst of the madness, eh? I think a very important point to make today is, if a man asks for help or he needs to talk, then just take a moment to stop and listen, but listen to understand, not just to respond. You may be their final straw, and that time that you give them may just well save their lives. It is so important, guys, honestly. So if you're interested in going to see No One Here Is Me, then please do head on over to Margate and Maidstone. We've got Friday the 28th of March at 7:30 p.m. at Margate Football Club, and then Saturday the 29th of March at 7:30 p.m. at Maidstone United Football Club. You can find out more at www.noonehereisme.co.uk. You can get your tickets over there as well. I also want to highlight we have some incredible work happening here within the hospital. I'm not sure if you guys have seen posters up around the hospital, but it's all about male mental health, and it's titled Man Alive. You can scan the QR code and you'll be taken to a wonderful Padlet with great links and resources and so much more to help you. Teresa Knapp, the wonderful guest speaker that we had on one of our 2024 shows last year, she has been working really hard to help on this topic. Guys, remember, you are not alone. There are people waiting to talk to you. There are people waiting to help you, to advise you, to support you. Take a look at these many topics. You can find ones that resonate with you and slide the tiles to the left to see many more services. This Padlet will be updated continuously, so please do keep an eye out. If you head on over to Hope on Prescription's Facebook page, I have literally just posted the poster now, so please do check it out. And just generally, guys, for a takeaway from today is just to always be kind. You really do not know what is happening in somebody's mind. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors, and if you can take a minute just to stop and just to listen, it can absolutely help change somebody's life. Dave, it has been an absolute wonder sitting here and talking to you. I know it's been a sensitive topic, but it's so important.
It is very important.
Very important indeed. So let's end this week's show. And Dave, we haven't had your song this week.
No, we haven't.
So what have we got?
Right, well, I've got, Heroes from David Bowie. It's an absolute wonderful song. However, the version that I've picked was recorded by the X Factor finalists, the TV show, back in 2010. They did a version of it. It's absolutely brilliant. And when the soldiers come on at the end, because they was raising money for help for heroes, because Iraq and Afghanistan, it was all going down, and lots of soldiers were coming home wounded. So they raised a heck of a lot of money for help for heroes. And towards the end of this track, you'll hear the soldiers come in and join the X Factor finalists. It's an absolute brilliant version of the song. I hope you like it.
Thank you.
So that's the X Factor finalists from 2010 and their version of Bowie's Heroes. What did you think of that one, Gemma?
Absolutely gorgeous and
great version of that song, I think.
Brilliant. It really, really is. And we can all be heroes. And you know what? Sometimes it only takes a smile.
Exactly.
The small things.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, if anybody wants to reach out and wants to find out more, please do head on over to www.hopeonprescription.co.uk. There is a contact us section, so you can just pop me a message in there and I will do my absolute best always to signpost you to where you may need to go. But thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back in a few weeks.
We will
Dave.
be in a couple of weeks' time on, let me check my calendar, it's going to be on the 20th of March. So we look forward to seeing you all then. What's your rest of your day, Gemma? Is there anything nice?
No, I'm still a bit busted with my hip and my back, so I'm going to be going home and continuing the resting period.
You take it easy. We'll see you later, folks. Bye-bye.